I know people would say like the first episode is sort of like save it for the last one or don't watch it at all. So
Yeah. Because if you watch the first episode, you'd be like, I don't want to watch the rest of the show, because that's how I felt. But I kept going because like a viewer had requested us to watch it. Had I not had that request, I would have stopped in like halfway through the first episode. But I ended up pushing it through, and now I love that show.
I watched two so far.
Which ones you watch?
Black Museum and the season 3 premiere one of the social the social status one.
You should have watched Black Museum last for more than one reason. Like, not only is it really the best episode, but it has a lot to do with the other episodes. Like, all the episodes are different, not related, except for Black Museum. And Black Museum is related to all the other episodes. Okay. But you wouldn't know that because you didn't see the other episodes.
To another episode of the Blerdlines podcast, and I am Frankie, and I'm with
David, the Chancellor.
And we have a special guest today. We have Negro Justice podcast. Introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up? My name is Cherry. I'm coming from the Negro Justice League podcast, aka NJL, Black Nerd podcast, representing today.
Mm-hmm. Cherry, want to have you on today. Talk about the Negro Justice League, NJL. I've been listening to it since I think your third episode when you had Decatur on, and talking about her cosplay experiences. I'm really enjoying what the content you all put out. But I want to know what was like the how was the show forged?
Well, what happened was I was listening to some podcasts, just some general like geek type podcasts, some like Harry Potter stuff, Game of Thrones stuff, and I felt like, although I like the content of the shows, they did not speak to me culturally. There were some jokes that were insensitive. There were some points that could have been made about certain characters and certain themes that weren't made because they didn't have people of color on their show. So I decided that instead of, complaining about it, that I do something about it and create my own show. So I reached out to a few people, found some people that were interested, and the rest is history. We started recording in February of 2016. So we're over 50 episodes in, over 2 years in, and we're still going strong.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, I think I've listened to a couple of your episodes, not too many, but I kind of I like a couple.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So, who are the members of your?
Okay, there's me. Obviously. And there's two people named Jay. So we have a J1 and a J2. J1 is someone I know from school. We went to Florida A&M University. He is actually currently living in Japan or Vietnam or Korea. I don't know. He's on an island somewhere. And he's like really into, he's our reader. I read too. He reads as much as me, if not more. He's also into like anime, and he's very into the culture of different things that we look at. We talk. He's the one that talks a lot about the this sociological type stuff. Then J2, he's in Mississippi. He was a guest on one of our episodes, and he turned out to be a really good guest, and we brought him on as more of a regular host, and now he's a main host. And he's definitely heavier into comics. And so what we try to do is complement each other by having different strengths. And so that's that's, why I keep them around. But we also have a lot of hosts that come on regularly as well, especially in the earlier episodes. You would hear Edwin. He's still with us, just not as often. And there's a lot of regular contributors that we talk to on a regular basis.
Nice.
I like your avatar. Like, I remember when I was up and I saw your video and have like these little avatars. It's adorable.
Yeah, that was, I think, the second iteration of our logo. Actually, Jay drew that by hand with pencil, and then I took it and drew it on a J1. When I say J is J1, he drew it by pencil, and then I took it and drew it with an Apple Pencil on an iPad and digitized it, colorized it, whatever. That I'm glad you say you like it, because that was a really, really rough logo. We've come a little further since then.
Yeah, but it was cute. It gave you like little personas, and I was like, oh, I love that. It's adorable.
Well, thank you.
Something like that for our people. Yeah. So, tell us a little bit more about like what you're interested in and like the role that you play on this.
Okay, that's two different. My interests are vast and varied. It's an ongoing joke that J1 and J2 can never figure out what I'm going to like, because I don't have solid defined interest or opinion. So it's always a wild card of whether or not I'm going to like something. I would say my favorite thing, fandom, whatever, is Harry Potter. I've read the books a few, like three times, I think, in English and once in French. Like, I just love those books. Right. I might read them again, actually. I'm working on getting them in Spanish, so we'll see if that happens. But I've read, like, I'm the person that reads the books behind the movies. Like, I've read The Hunger Games, I've read Harry Potter, I've read Game of Thrones, The Fault in Our Stars. Like, I have a bookcase full of those types of things. Like, I even read Twilight, and it pained me, but I read all of those books.
So I liked Twilight back when it was popular.
I hated it. It's not well written, and that bothered me. I can never get past it. So, especially being raised on Harry Potter, which is well written, very professionally written, I couldn't get with Twilight. And then I read the 50 Shades. I never saw the movies though, because I didn't like the books enough to see the movies. Okay. But yeah, I'm the reader, and then like Netflix and stuff, I'll watch the TV. That's me, all the TV shows and the binge watching. If I like it, if I don't like it, I won't. As far as my role, I created the podcast. I'm the leader. I do a lot of the heavy lifting as far as the production, the recording, the editing. Jay does a lot of the website, and J2 does a lot of the content on the website. So they're helping a lot with that. But as far as like reaching out and getting guests, a lot of that is me. I'm here now doing the interview with you. They do help a lot, but yeah, I would label myself the leader of the group. And they'll be mad when they hear this, but whatever.
I mean, you're here and they're not, so.
Touche.
Exactly. So you're representing.
Yes, you have the main chair, or
the
Iron Throne. I'll go there.
I'll take the Iron Throne. I think my nickname actually in the Negro Justice League is Cersei, which is a combination of Cherry and Cersei, because Cersei is my favorite character in Game of Thrones. And I love her style. I love her story. She rules with an iron fist, and I respect that and appreciate that and sometimes emulate that. So that is how I got that nickname. And when people who only watch the show will think I'm crazy for saying that, but if you read the book, she does have a lot more backstory, and she is a more sympathetic character if you've read the books.
I want to, and I'll admit I haven't watched the show because I thought it was going to be like too much gore for me.
You're like,
you haven't watched the show or read the book?
No, it's like I know.
Neither one of you?
No. I watched the show. I haven't read the books. I want to get into the books. He is just like living underneath a rock. So
yeah, he's tripping. I mean, I don't. I'm usually, if I watch a movie or something, I'll tell you to read the book first because the book is better. As far as Game of Thrones is concerned, you don't really have to read the book, to be honest with you. It's not that it's bad. It's just so incredibly long-winded that it's not necessarily worth the effort. I hate to say that, but
I think the reason I didn't like watch it because I'm not too big on like gore, so I wasn't sure if it was gonna like be too gory, so I didn't bother.
It's extraordinarily gory. But so read the book. Okay. You can read about gore; it's fine. I
feel like once you get over like the first few episodes, you'll be good because it took me a while. I was like, no, this is too graphic.
Yeah, it's extremely graphic, not just with gore. Every way a show can be graphic, it's a graphic.
Yeah, it's very graphic. But after a while, you're like, okay, I think I got this.
Get desensitized to the beheadings and
basically, and don't get yourself attached to anybody.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing.
Yeah, don't attach yourself to me.
Okay, I'll have to try as I've been told. I have to do it by next year. I have no choice.
Yeah.
Because you better be joining us when we're like live tweeting about this shit.
I know.
Yeah.
The most I'm doing now is like Black Lightning, but that's about it. But I digress. But how was the reception of the show when you all started?
It was really good actually. The thing about podcasting, and as you all know, it's kind of like talking to yourself in the dark. And so you just record yourself talking about things and you hope somebody listens. And you do have some analytics. So you have an idea that somebody, how many people maybe, but it's just a number, right? But with us, we've had a lot of people reach out to us, even initially to say, your show's great. Keep it up, and to give us suggestions of things to watch. And what was really interesting to me were the people like you all who we don't know personally, who actually listens to the show. And that's something that always gets me even 2 years later when people reach out and we have a group me that's basically a group chat for people that watch the show to discuss, episodes of the show, other things. And there's people in the group me that I do not know and none of the other hosts know that just like the show. And that always just kind of blows my mind. But we've been growing, steadily since then. I know maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we reached our 30,000th download, cumulatively. So not that that's 30,000 people, but our show's been downloaded 30,000 times. And that's just hard to even wrap your head around. Who are these people? Our reception's actually been really good.
Nice.
The Negro Justice League, where did that name come from?
We sat around on the phone before the first episode and shot names into the air until we found one that sounded good, to be honest with you. I don't remember what the suggestions were, but it took 20 minutes. It took a while. Negro Justice League was thrown out there and it had a ring to it. And so we, and it's got a little shock value too, because you don't hear the word Negro often. And we stuck with it and it's been working for us.
Awesome. And so, do you have any advice for anyone who wants to start a podcast? Anyone who's starting out, or people who are just they don't know how to get the views or get click, what type of advice do you have for those people?
The first advice I have is to just do it. So many people contact me asking how to do this, what do you want to do, how do I do this and that, and they are afraid to get started because they don't like the way their voice sounds, or they don't think they have the right equipment, or they don't think they know how to do it. The best advice I can give is to just do it, and you'll figure it out along the way. If you listen to our first episode, it is trash. It is so bad. And I think David said he came in on the 3rd episode, and I winced. Oh yeah, the 3rd episode is
nodding in agreement. I was just I know how that feels, because when we first started, I listened to it, I was holy crap. And I still think I'm whenever I listen to the episodes that we put out, I'm just I don't want to hear myself. Oh my God, is that really how it sounds?
Yeah. So our 3rd episode that David came in on was an hour and 20 minutes long, because we hadn't learned that you need to time yourself first. So all of those things, every little thing that we do, we have it down to a science now. We can knock out an episode pretty quick, but you learn over time. So don't be afraid to just start. It's gonna suck. Most people that listen to podcasts understand that the first few episodes are shaky, and most of them forgive you for that. even on our first episode, I say, look, if you're listening to this later, I understand that this is going to not sound too great. As far as getting downloads and stuff, be consistent. Make sure that you're putting out content on a regular basis. People get bored very quickly. And in saying that, I know that we've taken like month-long hiatuses. It is what it is. You don't make it 2 years without, having to take a break. But do put out as much as you can. Engage your audience. Some feedback that I've gotten from fans is that we do a good job of just talking back to them, having a group where they can interact with us directly, responding to messages, responding to inbox tweets, Facebook. Be accessible. You're not famous yet. There's no reason you can't respond to your tweets. So things like that is what will engage people and get them to listen. And I'm here now because I responded to a DM. So, do things like that.
How did you you have like your month-long hiatuses, like taking the breaks? How does that help energize you to want to keep going?
It doesn't.
Okay.
We took breaks because we have lives. We're 3 to 4 adults with husbands and wives and children and jobs, and stuff happens. People get sick. People move to other continents. People move to other states. Stuff happens. And then we have to really pull it back together to say, hey, on this date, we're getting back together and we're recording another show. We've never taken a break deliberately. Unless it's maybe around Christmas, we'll say, all right, we're not recording for the next week or two. But they're usually because life happens, and it does take effort to get back into the game. And I wouldn't say that we come back energized, because I wouldn't say that doing the show doesn't wear us down. It's we do this out of passion. It's something we love to do. We're not cutting checks. It's not something that wears you down, but getting back to it can be difficult sometimes.
Understandable.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Or like you take a break and you're just like, I don't even want to do this. It's not that you don't want to do it anymore. It's just more so you're just like, really, I got to do this again. But then once you start doing it again, you're like, okay, I see why.
Yeah, it's a groove you got to get back in. Like, I never feel like recording when it's time to sit in front of my computer and plug my equipment in. I never want to do it. And then 10 minutes into recording, I'm energized, awake, talking, doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
And that's just how it is about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you just got to keep being consistent, because if you don't, then you're just going to fall into that like ditch of not wanting to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back shortly.
Hi, this is Cherry from the Negro Justice League, and you're listening to the Blerdlines podcast.
Okay, so we're back, and we're here with Sherry from the Negro Justice League. And so we're going to get into the topic of Gatekeeper Nerds. David, do you want to lead this one?
Sure. Like, I like the topic of Gatekeeper Nerds. Like, I always thought about how, like example, like your nerds and geeks that, like, don't want to block or judge people who are, like, trying to enjoy a fandom or are, like, new to a fandom. Saying, like, like, or it's like, oh, you don't know everything there is to know about Batman, or because all you watch is the animated series, but everybody has a gateway it's to some degree. Because we all weren't born out the womb knowing all this stuff. We learned at some point. We all had our entryway. So, question for both of you, like, what, maybe you had like some times where you've dealt with that in like different things, and it doesn't have to just be like fandoms, but just different parts of like life?
Well, as far as fandoms are concerned, it's another ongoing joke, running joke, that I don't watch anime. And so, I watched my first anime like a couple months ago, maybe within the past year. No, maybe a year ago, something like that. Because I hate it. I hated it as a kid. Like, when Toonami came on, it was interrupting the cartoons I wanted to see.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hear you.
Yeah, I really thought like Sailor Moon was trash. I was bored. And so I did watch.
She
I
checked it
did
out.
watch it. I thought I liked Pokemon, so I went to watch the Pokemon movie, and it was excruciating. I watched Powerpuff Girls. That's about it. I didn't know that was anime.
My chest.
Yeah. So are you about to gatekeep me? Are you? So yeah, that's a joke.
That runs really deep.
I hate Sailor Moon. Like, I just thought it was so boring, and like, I'm not into the super girly stuff. That was just like a turn off for me. I'd rather watch like Ninja Turtles or something.
Okay.
I mean, but they had like another channel. Didn't they have like the like WB channel for that?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was on WB. It was.
Sailor Moon was also on WB.
Was it?
Yeah.
I just know when Toonami came on, that was when it was time for me to turn TV off and do something else.
You had to take homework anyway, so much.
Yeah, let me go make some phone calls.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I don't get upset about it, and I respect it that I'm just not part of the game. Like I watch Death Note and I like that. I watched one or two other animes are alright, but I don't claim the fandom because I already know I'm not about that life.
You're not an otaku.
No.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. And I don't feel any type of way about people saying I'm not a real fan and I don't know what to talk about, because I will let you know I'm not a fan. I've just seen a couple that were alright.
I think for me, like anime, like Frankie knows, is like it was a long time before I knew something was called anime, like Pokemon or Digimon. I didn't know. I just thought it was just cartoons. But it's just when people were like, "Oh, you don't know?" No, I really don't. It's like, all right, teach me. But I knew as soon as you said you were anime, I was like, I'm looking at Frankie's face. I'm like, oh boy.
Because I'm anime dork.
I mean, and that's why I have
I know,
particularly J1 around, because he can fill that gap. When somebody wants to talk about some anime, all right, Jay, take off.
Yeah, true. But there's nothing wrong. Like, you like what you like, and you like what you don't like.
True.
And, people are, hopping on the bandwagon because they see certain things, like it and let them be. Like, Gatekeeper Nerds. Do what you gotta do. Like what you like. And I won't stress over it. Just don't interfere with my shit. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Don't mess with my shit. And don't come in here acting like you know everything when you haven't been around but for just like a day or two. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's all I say. That's all I want from that whole entire topic. Just don't fuck with my shit. And don't try to one up.
I mean, I guess on the flip side, it's kind of like taking Black Panther, for example, or any other movies or comic movies that are popular. It's like people after they watch a 2-hour movie or something, then it's like they're now experts in are you really?
Yes.
But
and I'm like, really? So now you know everything about everybody, the Marvel universe, DC universe. No, you don't.
But I have to.
I think there's a. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but I have to be honest. I have to stop myself sometimes. I'm like, I can't stop somebody from saying well, your introduction was through a movie, so I can't tell you that you're wrong. I was like, that's what you know. That's what you know.
You can tell them they're wrong. I don't agree with that.
All right.
I think that there's a.
Screw their feelings.
Yeah, because there's a level of respect. There's a level of respect that needs to be had for source material, and it takes a long time to become familiar with source material, and so there needs to be a level of respect for that. Like I told you, how many hours I spent reading Harry Potter books. I know all about it. I know that I'm all up and through that story. So if you come in and tell me you've seen 2 movies and you have an opinion on something, I'm gonna feel some type of way, because 1, your opinion is gonna be wrong, and 2, you haven't spent from age 11 up to however old I am now learning this stuff.
Exactly.
So yes, I don't think that you should be mean to somebody or bully somebody because they're not well versed in what you're talking about. But I do believe there's a certain amount of respect that needs to be given to the source material and the people that are familiar with it.
So I gotta pick your brain with Harry Potter for a second.
Oh Lord!
the
Now that I said that, I'm expected to be correct.
no,
and I
oh
will-
no, oh no,
it's been a-
oh no,
it's been a minute.
I know, I know. I just want to get your opinion on something because, like, I always have a gripe about the Goblet of Fire portrayal of the maze on the movie versus the book. So I want to know what you think about that.
The first time I saw Goblet of Fire, I was highly disappointed with most of the trials compared to from the book to the movie. Having seen Goblet of Fire like 30 times and only read the book 3 or 4, I don't care as much as I do now, as much as I cared at like 14 or whenever the movie came out. Okay. So I do think that most, I'm gonna say in general, most Harry Potter movies do the books a disservice. The exception may be Deathly Hallows Part 2, because I just really like that. Was just a damn good movie. But yeah, I think the whole Triwizard Tournament in general just wasn't as dangerous, wasn't as big, as it should have. I mean, I know somebody still died, but it didn't come across as massive in the movies as it was in the books.
I agree. I mean, I guess I also want to see the Quidditch World Cup, but that would be like a 6-hour movie.
Yeah, we got a little piece of that. What I really wanted to see was Dumbledore's funeral. That was a scene that I thought was really beautiful in the book, and I felt like we could have at least had 5 seconds of it. Just show me flying over the casket. Show me something. They just completely like there was no funeral, and that bothers me to this day.
So, are you like Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff?
I'm a Hufflepuff.
I'm Slytherin.
Ooh.
I know, right? Like, exactly. That was my reaction, too.
I mean, I was not happy when I got sorted in Hufflepuff because I thought I was a Ravenclaw my whole life because I'm very academically inclined. However, what I didn't know about myself and what kind of being sorted taught me about myself is that my academic skills, my intellect, does not necessarily guide my decision making as much as my compassion. And that's what makes a Hufflepuff. So even though I may be smart, I'm also a lot more considerate, a lot more compassionate, a lot concerned about people, interactions, those type of things. And that's what makes me a Hufflepuff. And I wasn't happy about it at first, but I accepted it now.
I'm still in denial because I took the test 5 times. Like, really, every single time Slytherin. And I'm like...
I took it twice, and I got Hufflepuff both times.
I'm still in denial, and I want to take the test again. I want to retake.
I'm officially Gryffindor, but like the Facebook versions, I'm always Ravenclaw. So I'm like in my heart Ravenclaw, but Gryffindor.
No, like if you get sorted into a house, you can't choose. You gotta.
There's one test.
But you're sorted in.
Unless you can choose, because some people are hat stalls and they're given a choice because they're borderline.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I know that either.
I want to do that again, but no.
And I mean like on the internet one, not just in the book. Like I'm not just talking about theory. Like really, if you take the test on Pottermore, you can get a hat stall and pick your house.
Oh wow. I didn't know. Maybe I should just start picking random questions, and then I might be able to pick a house.
Yeah, no, you're deep in Slytherin.
Choosing random.
You're still good Slytherin.
She's Slytherin. Yeah, that's like a Slytherin thing to do, is then go in there and try to cheat the test.
You want to cheat the system?
In fact, you're trying to cheat, they're gonna put you in Slytherin.
I was so off this too. I literally was honest every single question, and they were like,
I picked different answers twice and still got Hufflepuff. So I don't know, because I took the old test on the beta version, and then I took the new test when they updated a couple years ago, still Hufflepuff. And I got the same one.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay.
So, where are my colors? Green does look good on me.
So, did this slight intervention help that you're embracing Slytherin now?
Just a little. I'm embracing it just a little bit. I'm still in denial, but I'm just like, you know what?
Mm-hmm. They're not all bad.
They're not.
No.
And I did have like a minor crush on Draco.
What? You were one of them?
No, when the movie first came out and he was cute and had the chubby cheeks, and I had a minor crush on him. And then once he got older and once I grew up, and I was like, "Ew, you ugly."
I never felt any type of way about him.
So Ron Weasley is like, where is that?
If I had to pick, I mean, I guess. No, you know who was fine? What's his name? Blaze Zabini, who like I don't even think he has any lines, but he's in Half Blood Prince, and he's a Slytherin.
Oh,
Yeah, he was fine. Yeah, he was cute. I don't think he has any lines though, or he might have one or two. But he was fine. But he's supposed to be actually in the book. His mom is like a descendant of Nefertiti, so she's gorgeous and he's fine. Yeah, and so they got an attractive actor to play him. Little known fact because I read the book.
See, I didn't know anything about that.
I had to tell myself. I read 4.5 books because I got the 5th book spoiled for me online by accident, and then I stopped.
Yeah, I barely got through half of the first, and that's because I just can't pay attention.
I'm about to read them again one of these days.
Yeah, I've been reading them. Maybe I might do Audible, like so I can just.
I did Sorcerer's Stone on Audible. I was on a road trip and did it then. It's not the same.
It's not.
I mean, I personally would rather read it myself, but people like it.
Yeah. So you read too.
I mean, I do have the books, but there's something about books on tape. I mean, I do have like the first 4 books on cassette tape. That's how old I am.
Cassette tape?
Yes, I do. Cassette tape. Yeah.
How you gonna play them?
I still have a CD player that plays cassettes. So.
All right.
Yeah, I know. I'm old. Just stop. But back to I guess the topic is like what you. So I won't even try and say what I know versus what you know. Harry Potter, I know you will like drown me. I know. But it's just like how people was come out like I know I've seen something so I can talk about it because like what I had to learn was like looking at like the like animated series of some shows like Superman and Justice League and then realizing like they're vastly different from the source materials. But I always thought the comic book, the animated versions were like gospel until like I was told I was wrong and I had to go and learn for myself. So it's like okay. So it's like okay, I'm learning, but then going to the movies and it's like I remember when I saw Black Panther, and then that suppose to those who haven't seen it yet, I don't know why because it's over $1 billion now. But the last extra credit scene, and some people were saying like how like they were trying to figure out who Bucky was, or like why was his arm missing, or where he got his metal arm from, and our girlfriend and I was sitting there like, do we want to correct them now or not? And we just walked out and didn't say anything. But they were wrong, and we were like, we don't want to say it. We'll let them have their moment. But
yeah,
it's kind of like self-policing.
No, I don't police myself. If I feel like somebody needs to be educated, I just go ahead and handle it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
To me, it depends on the situation. It depends on like who it is, and if I feel like dealing with their level of ignorance or not. Like if I want to stoop down that low, or do I just want to like actually take the time to educate them? I don't know. It just depends on the person.
I'm all about education. I watched Civil War with my dad just because me and my dad go to movies all the time, but he hadn't seen any Marvel movies leading up to that, or maybe a handful of Iron Mans. So he sat through Civil War, and then at the end, I said, "How was it?" And he said it was okay. It wasn't that good. And I was like, "Hold up now. That movie was outstanding. You didn't like it because you didn't know what was going on." So then I took my dad all the way back to Iron Man 1, and we watched every single movie and then watched Civil War again. And then he was like, "Yeah, that movie was great." So like I said, if you need education, I'll teach you. Like We're gonna take you all the way back to square one. We're gonna bring you right on up to speed. And now he sees all the movie. When he saw Black Panther before I did, like he's in the theater.
Okay.
I'm cool with it.
All right.
Okay.
But what do you think? Since we're now like caught up with it, is Infinity War what number 19 or number 19?
Yeah, 19.
What are your thoughts for that?
What about it? What do you mean?
Oh, in terms of like speculation of like where it's gonna go, because I know it can go like different directions at this point.
You mean Black Panther or like the MCU in general?
Oh, just MCU in general. Sorry.
I don't know. Just because Black Panther's success, no one saw coming. And so because of that, because Marvel is a money-making institution, they're going to have to focus more on Black Panther than the comics would. The comics are really focused on Iron Man, some Spider-Man. Like, that's a heavy storyline, more so than Black Panther. Black Panther is really an auxiliary character, but they're going to have to bring him to the forefront to make some cash. And we don't have the Fantastic Four, which we should in order to continue this story, especially Reed Richards. Okay, let me tell you what I want to see. I want to see an Illuminati spinoff. Yes. I want to see Reed Richards, Iron Man, Black Panther, all of them in a room together. I don't know if they'll be able to do that because of the not owning the Fantastic Four. But what they will do, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I'm not sure that they're 100% on what they will do. I don't know. Because we're at a junction right now where it's hard to say where the story is going because a lot of characters are going to die. New characters are coming in. We're probably going to leave Earth. Well, that's what the comics would do now is leave Earth. I don't know if that's what the books want to do. I have no idea.
I'd be fine if we had like our next 6 or 7 movies in space. I'm fine with that.
That would be good.
I feel like that's what I think that's what we're supposed to do, but I don't want to be in space. I'm not crazy about space movies.
Okay.
I love space movies, especially like if they like follow around the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh God, no.
What? Hold on, what? Is that the one Marvel movie you didn't like?
No, I don't like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Period. Like I don't like them in the comics.
Okay.
They're really odd and awkward and boring in the comics. The first Guardian of the Galaxy movie was fair. The second Guardians of the Galaxy movie was outstanding. I will give them that. Yeah. That movie was the first time I ever cared about any of the Guardians. And I've played their video games, I've read their comics, I've seen their movies, and I hated them all the way through. But that's Guardians of the Galaxy 2, because they humanized the storyline and made it about something relatable. Yondu really made that movie for me emotionally. And I love that character.
So awesome.
That actor. I forgot his name, but I love him anyway, especially like on Walking Dead. That's my guy. So what was I gonna say? I don't want to see more of them though. I don't know that they will continue the story in a vein that I want to see more Guardians of the Galaxy.
Need to see more of them, especially Chris Pratt.
She's
just like, no, I'm good on that.
He don't really do that he's funny, but he don't really do anything for me. We got Jurassic Park coming. You can watch that.
Yeah.
Yes. I like him as Star-Lord, though. I like him as Star-Lord. I don't really care for him in any other movies. I just want him as Star-Lord.
He got lucky as Star-Lord because he's nothing like the Star-Lord the rest of us are used to if you're familiar with the character. He made that character a whole lot better. All of the characters have improved a lot. With Gamora improving the least. That character still just... I always hated her, now I hate her a little less. So, but yeah, they all do a great job, especially Drax, because nobody cared about Drax, and he's like a standout character now.
Okay, yeah, Drax is shit. Yeah. He has really good lines in the movie. Yeah, that's what.
I would like to see like more of like the original Guardians. I know we got them with like little cameos and like the post-credit scenes, but I don't know how well it's gonna like do as like a standalone feature. But the actor is Michael Rooker, who played Yondu.
What was the name again?
Michael Rooker.
Yes. That's Burl. That's Burl from The Walking Dead.
I met one of the cast members that was like on the crew, one of his crews, and he was telling me about like the whole entire makeup job and how it took him about like 3 hours to get into makeup. And he was telling me that Drax, the guy, what's his name, John Batista,
Dave.
Dave. I'm thinking about John Cena.
We got John Batista.
They basically like his makeup took about 8 hours every day.
Cause that's his whole upper body.
Yeah, all upper body. And then it said at the end of the day, he had to get in like a tub or a shower with like 3 other guys, and they would have to scrub him down.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, just scrub him down, and this happened just about every single day for like months. And I'm just like, I don't know how you guys did it. I would have been like, I'm done. Peace.
Like, when do you sleep, man?
Exactly. When do you sleep? When do you eat? When do you have time for yourself? Yeah. But that was really interesting. Like, just to sit down. His name is John Anderson. And
that's cool.
He's in other movies too. I forgot which other movie.
But I'm going to bring like another like our topics up front. You know, we were going to take a break, but I'm going to skip the break. But then we were talking about like Black Panther earlier and MCU in general. Since Black Panther did really well in box office wise, how do you think that's going to affect the Academy next year? Because you know it should get something, but in usual standings, these movies don't get anything.
Oh, they're not giving these Negroes awards.
No.
They'll get something. They might get like a costume design, hopefully.
Like Best Picture.
Heck no. No.
It won't.
Nothing.
Unfortunately.
What I really, really, really want to see more than Best Picture, Best Actress, Best whatever, I want to see Denai Guerrero get Best Supporting Actress because she made that movie. Like, she was beautiful. She was strong. She was in character every second. She was on camera. I need her to get an award. Everybody else, do what you gotta do, but she needs that award.
Yes, she does. She's an amazing actress.
Yes.
And I don't really watch The Walking Dead all that much, but I've seen a few clips of her.
You've seen a few clips.
No, like remember when I told you at the beginning of the episode that I'm like I get like zombie nightmares whenever.
Oh yeah.
That. So every time I watch an episode of The Walking Dead, I would literally have a zombie nightmare.
I love zombies.
I can't deal with them. That's
honestly
my first nightmare.
I am an epidemiologist by profession, and that is because I love zombies. Like, that was really what got me into whole like disease transmission and that type of stuff. I ended up, making it my career because I like zombie movies, outbreaks, and those type of things.
Really interesting. I can't deal. I can't. Whole entire look. No.
I understand. But yeah, she's good on there. She's good on The Walking Dead. But she excels in this movie.
In this movie, she was.
And I liked how I listened to your part one, your two-parter Black Panther review, and I like what you said about her, like especially with like her and like having like the bad wig, and then like comparing like it could be like a shout out to like her wig she was in Walking Dead.
Yeah, Jay said that. I don't necessarily agree that it was a direct shot at The Walking Dead. I think it was more a commentary on Black women and their natural hair than it was necessarily about the horrible wigs they have on The Walking Dead.
I got you. And I think that,
but I mean, Jay agrees with you, so y'all can have that.
Okay. And I guess like I thought about what you were saying because like it's true. It was a commentary on like the natural hair and just. I guess it's more ways, I guess, to think about it.
Yeah, I just love how she literally was like, "Get the shit off my head" and just toss it. And
but she fought somebody with it. That's what's funny. She didn't just take it off.
Yeah, exactly. Like bam, and just kept going.
I love every scene she's in with that red dress. Like the way that dress flows, and she's got brown skin with gold jewelry, no hair, and she's just flying through the air with a spear like that. All of that was really beautiful.
Very.
It was like it's. Do you think they could? There's that rumored talk of her getting her own trilogy. Do you think that could happen?
I hope not. I don't want to ruin a good thing. Just let her be in some more movies. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's in Infinity War. Let's let her be in a couple Black Panther 2s and things like that. I don't want to see a whole show with just her. I think that would be too much. I just don't want to mess it up like that. If they were to do a spinoff, which everybody keeps wanting to see a Dora Milaje spinoff, I don't. What I want to see is a prequel that focuses on Njobu, which was Sterling K. Brown's character in America. I want to see what was going on in Wakanda to make him decide to take a war dog assignment in America. Then I want to see him meet Killmonger's mother, who they never show or really talk about who she is, because she's apparently a strong American. And I want to see him decide to turn against his country and to start to, have those things that lead to treason. I want to see that storyline. But, nobody else has said that but me. So we probably won't see it.
I wouldn't mind seeing that either.
I wouldn't mind that either, too.
You're fine.
Maybe like a Netflix or they could put it in theaters. It could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I would not necessarily even Netflix is fine, but maybe even like is it ABC that does Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah,
like that type of show that's really removed from necessarily the superhero. Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. used to be removed from the superhero aspect and more focused on solid storyline. Like a show that you have to really watch for a long time to even figure out it's about superheroes. I would like to see that.
Okay. Yeah, I would watch that. I mean, we're getting with Cloak and Dagger and the Runaways is out now and some other things, and I haven't even watched really the Netflix stuff.
Mm-hmm. I've watched all their Marvel shows on Netflix, and you're not missing a whole lot.
Okay,
which is why I said I don't want it.
I mean, I've only watched Daredevil season 1. I was like, okay. I mean,
season 2 was better.
Okay. I mean, I watch it. I mean, I want to watch Iron Fist, but then everybody said it sucked, so I didn't watch it.
Ooh, don't. Yeah, leave that alone. What's the last one you watched?
Leave it alone. The only reason why I watched it is so I can see Louis Tane, and that's it.
And he's only in like 10 seconds of one episode. He should have been Iron Fist. I had a whole rant about that on one of our podcasts.
I agree with you. He should have been Iron Fist.
They did him dirty. He was Iron Fist up until the last minute. Then they decided to go to White Boy.
Yeah.
Thing.
Oh God, that made me so mad. And then I'm like, if I was him, I just would have been like, no, fuck y'all. I ain't gonna even do this shit.
Yeah, I'm surprised he did it, but he that's exposure regardless. And if you follow him on Twitter and stuff, he feels the same way we feel. He knows that he was shafted and he should have gotten that part.
I follow him on Instagram. I kind of stalk him on Instagram in a bit.
Yeah, I do too. If you say something to him, he respond like he cool.
Yeah. Seriously, he will respond. I featured him in my story, and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like,
way to play.
Hey, don't start because you're gonna get me going.
Right. You gonna start something you can't finish now. Keep playing with.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
Live podcast. Anything you want to say? Where can people find you?
Where can you find us? The Negro Justice League is everywhere. You first and foremost, you go to www.negrojusticeleague.com and you'll find links to old episodes. There's some blog stuff on there. And be honest with you, I don't contribute to the blog as much as everybody else because I just got stuff I got to do. But we do have a website. There's a video on there of me explaining more about what the Negro Justice League is. We're very active on Facebook, facebook.com/Negro Justice League. You can like us on there. You can follow us on Twitter at Black Nerd Cast. That's Black Nerd CAST as in podcast. Like us on Instagram at Negro Justice League on Instagram. And we're on just about every podcasting app you can think of. iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, whatever. So if there's a radio app that has podcasts on it, just look for Negro Justice League and we are more than likely on there. Also, if you find that you really want to interact with us, send us a direct message and we can add you to our group chat where we basically discuss everything that we discuss on the show. Like if you watch the show and you want somebody to talk to, you can definitely talk to us there. So I think that's about it.
And yeah, that's pretty awesome. Make sure to check her out and Negro Justice League. And with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and close it out.
Yes,
for doing this.
Yes, and thanks again, Jerry.
Thank you for having me.